I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
I don't care about fucking money. I know how to live without money. It's not something new to me.
Bonus video here. You know, I was thinking to myself, listening to a bunch of guys brag about how awesome they were at Call of Duty Warzone today. What gets Lorne excited and what does he take pride in? Because I'm not really sure. Even when he sings, it's like a chore. I don't think he does it because he enjoys it. I think he does it because he believes other people enjoy it. When we're younger, we have a lot of things going for us, and one of them is the beauty of our youth. That's something you look back and you're like, wow, who was that good-looking kid? Or you know what you say, what other people say. And when you get older, you lose that. And of course, people talk about dad bod and whatever else, and it doesn't matter. But the point I'm saying is, as you get older, you lose that. And Lorne, when he was in high school, I guess you would say he was passable, you know, average-looking dude. When he was in the Army, passable, average-looking guy. There was never anything that stood out about him in terms of looks. So his singing, he turned to his singing, and I truly believe he got some praise from like Aunt Sharon and Uncle Bob and Cousin Billy Bob, and they said, oh wow, Lorne, that sounds really good. So he no longer sang because he enjoyed it. It became something he craved attention from. There is nothing that will kill a hobby or an interest quicker than letting it consume you. I love magic, and I'll practice magic when no one's around. I don't practice it as much anymore, just mainly because I don't have the time. But I will say, and the energy, I will say that I love it, and I love performing. There was a point, though, when I started performing where I cherished the reactions from other people rather than the interaction with other people. I don't know if that makes sense. People who play the guitar, people who sing, people who act, they love the attention of being on stage. They love being the center of attention, which will run right into my narcissism video later. Once it becomes about, I need your praise, things kind of go downhill. I guess you could say the same when it becomes about money. I've heard a lot of stories. The Dandy Warhols. I don't know if you guys know who they are. I love them. We used to see them, and they would open up for Everclear when I lived in Portland. And you could talk to them backstage. I can't even remember her name. She was like the percussionist. Zia? It doesn't matter. She used to perform topless on stage, and no one gave a shit because it was such a progressive culture there. It was just something unique that they did, and she finally stopped doing it once one guy in the audience said, "Take your top off!" Which is another example of when something becomes more than routine. It becomes expected. And I think the pressures of everyday life can get to you, and it can steal your joy. It can take the joy away from performing, and you put the pressure on yourself, and you start gauging your success by how much praise am I getting. Well, the last time I sang a song, Aunt Sharon said this. Well, this time I sang something, and she just was like, wow, that's okay. I've never been a great singer. My kids love my singing. My ex liked my singing, but I was never a real singer. I sang to put the kids to sleep. I write music. I play the classical guitar. I used to play electric guitar, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what it was, I just fell in love with the classical guitar. And I'll play it for them. That's something I enjoy doing. I don't need their adoration. If they go to sleep, boom, mission accomplished. So in terms of his singing, I genuinely don't think he enjoys it anymore. I think he's always thought of it as his ace in the hole. When he was singing to Jamie, Reborn, with that face. When I see that face come on the screen, I'm like, oh shit, and I'm out. There was one stream Reborn had where he was singing, I left, I came back, he was still singing, I left, I came back, and he was still singing, and Reborn was having a fucking field day in the chat. People were it was like they were dying. He was literally murdering all of them, and I could just see his smile through the keyboard. It was a pretty funny stream, but Lorne really believes that's his ace in the hole. So he uses it, and when he doesn't get the adoration, when he doesn't get the appreciation, I can't remember if it was Jamie, Amy, one of them fell asleep while he was singing, Anyway, Lorne doesn't get the adoration and the appreciation that he wants, and I think he starts to hate singing. I don't know if he really pays attention, though. We know he doesn't understand social cues and interactions. We know he doesn't understand criticism, and there's no way he would ever allow himself to pick up on the fact that nobody likes his singing anymore. He blames his singing or his lack of singing skills on smoking. He blames it on age. And of course, if you mention that Lorne's getting older, he's like, no, I don't think so. Lorne, you're bald. You look like a 70-year-old man. You wear glasses like a 70-year-old man. You squint like a 70-year-old man. And you talk like a 70-year-old man. Cocktail lounge, going out for cocktails. I don't think you could say cooking. Because I don't think it was about cooking. I think it was about him wanting to be a celebrity. What kind of jerk-off thinks that I got caught on To Catch a Predator and I'm going to use this to vault myself into superstardom? Well, Lorne Armstrong, of course. It boggles the mind that he did that. And what really got me, I couldn't believe this, when he actually stopped making videos, I was stunned. I was really stunned because I never thought he would stop. He could have the entire world bearing down on him. The entire world could be in the chat telling him he's a piece of garbage and they hoped he died. No, that's not how I feel. I feel like he's a piece of garbage, but I don't want anybody to die. I think we all want Lorne to just admit to it and change. But as we've seen before, he'll be like, well, I guess I might as well stay on here. I'll be the target. So I don't think he enjoyed doing what he was doing. The cooking show, I think he enjoyed being the center of attention. Those smug videos, if you don't like, boy, doesn't that taste good. If you don't like it, don't drink it. I genuinely feel like, okay, and I'm going to say something real quick. In those videos, the one thing he seemed to truly enjoy was poetry. So if I'm his probation and parole officer, I'm going to listen to those calls, I'm going to watch those videos, and I'm going to notice this guy likes to write poems. He wrote a poem for a freaking scammer. That's something you could give him. Lorne, I want you to keep this journal, and I want you to write as many poems as you can. Whenever you're feeling down, whenever you have idle hands and you think you might be going to get into something you're not supposed to, I want you to write a poem about it. Lorne might actually do that. Write a poem about how you feel. Now, it would be like, I walked outside and the sun was bright. Should I go back in? I don't know, I just might. Or something stupid like that we can just rattle off the top of our head. His poetry seems to be the one constant. Although he wrote it to a 13-year-old girl and scammers and probably the mayor of Italy and the lady who works the cash register down at the local Jiffy Mart and anybody else he probably wanted to impress. Like I said before, I enjoyed creative writing and I enjoyed people laughing with me when I wrote these ridiculous stories in 5th and 6th grade with people in the classroom included in it, and we all had a good laugh, but I grew out of that. I don't know if Lorne's ever grown out of that. I think that was the only thing he ever got any attention from besides his singing. So I don't know if he really likes poetry or he's just expecting a reaction to poetry. I appreciate that poem, Lorne. I don't appreciate that son of a bitch being around. Patrick Teacup Ireland, the greatest poetry reciter in the history of poetry. Now, I had heard Lorne's scammer poem and I'd heard his poems to Kayla. But what I had never heard were his poems to Ramona about the diapers and peeing and pooping, and I realized how terrible he really was and how his sense of humor, nobody else gets it but him. I mean, the Bruss moment, be right us, ha ha ha. He gets it, so nobody else has to get it. And that's another thing. When you're talking about singing or you're talking about something that you create, something that you like, something you get, and you may even forget to add stuff in so that other people can understand what the hell you're doing. You see it in magicians all the time. I'm sorry if you guys get tired of that, but I spend a lot of time in that world. They come up with a routine. They know what's going on, but there are little gaps in it where they should have had something to explain to the audience or to connect with the audience or an applause cue, and they just leave it out. It could be a disaster for people on stage. And I think Lorne's sense of humor, it just doesn't click with anyone else. It's primate level, probably. And I think he gets angry when people don't appreciate, when people do not appreciate what he's done, what he's created, or he feels like they just don't understand it. Why can't you see that? Again. So when you're looking at someone like Lorne, he doesn't have much to offer anybody but intangible things. We all know this. Words. Attention you deserve. I serenade you. I know you didn't ask for any of this, but this is what I'm going to give you. And that also plays into the fact that he takes things that he thinks he does well and he gives them to other people. And because he doesn't have anything else to give, when those fall flat, he just gets angry. Well, I can't give you anything else. And here I was, I spent a whole 2.5 minutes singing you a song and you didn't even appreciate it. That's the problem when someone has nothing going for them. And they have a few things they've always gone to. When he was younger, girls probably thought those poems were cute. I mean, they ran from him, I'm sure, when he wrote, I'm outside your window, I can see you now. You know, whatever his stalking poems were like. But I could see it maybe working when he was younger, and he just stuck with it. Because Lorne, he finds one thing, he wants to stick to it. Little House on the Prairie. Loves Little House on the Prairie. Probably watches it, and it exclusively. He's the guy who goes to Cracker Barrel, or if he could, go to Cracker Barrel every morning and have the same thing for the next 20 years. So one of his main issues, and I think this sums up Lorne perfectly, is that he thinks he has things to offer. And if other people don't want those things, he just breaks down. He snaps, and he'll keep doing it. Like he wants to beat you over the head with his singing and his poetry and the attention you deserve. I guess he thinks they're just eventually going to give in, or he's gonna hit it. He's gonna get one, and it's gonna click. And I mean, the lamest thing you can do is send a tape over to a girl. You know, back in the day, cassette tapes. Send a song over to a girl and say, I want you to listen to this song and listen to the words, and think that they're somehow going to appreciate that. I don't think they will. That's pretty fucking lazy. And if that's the way that you want to show your love to somebody, go for it. If you want to dance with a woman or a man, whatever, to that song, that's different. A romantic dance with a song with beautiful words in it, it can turn into a moment. But if you're just sending a song, or you're just looking at a piece of paper and you're reading somebody else's words, playing somebody else's notes, you can't expect them to have a reaction. And I think that's Lorne's problem with singing, and his problem with poetry, is he values the reaction more than the gesture. Just wanted to make a quick video. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one.
Wow.